Hello, OAC. My name's Charlie, and I'm currently working on an object show called Battle of Madness. For a quick introduction for the show, so you know what you audition for, BOM is a lore-heavy competition show aimed at older audiences, specifically people over 16. My goal with this is to make something serious, discussing also serious topics, while not forgetting to include fun and possibly goofy scenes and characters. I have no more than 2 seasons in mind, those discussing topics such as mental health issues, overcoming trauma, homophobia, and possibly others that aren't coming to my mind right now. So if you feel uncomfortable with anything that has a chance of appearing in the series, then I don't recommend auditioning nor watching the show when it comes out. Your mental health matters more than a voice of a character or the number in a view count. But if you still want to voice somebody, then let's get on to the requirements. Starting off with the basic ones, you'll have to fit within these in order to have a chance. Firstly, I'm not taking people under 14. Yes, I know I said 13 in the last announcement that I put on TikTok, but the horse was not dead yet. If you're under 14 and trying to audition, you'll be kicked or banned, depending on how young you are. If you somehow manage to become a voice actor while under 14, you'll be banned the second I found out and will be replaced. So it's best to just not do it in the first place. It will be inconvenient for everyone. Second requirement you need to meet is having Discord. If you don't or can't have it, then I'm sorry, but it's impossible for you to voice act anyone that way. And last but not least, you need to have a good vocal range. By that I mean, even if the character you're going for seems monotone or always cheerful and happy, you never really know when they could get to their breaking point. Well, that's it for the basics. If you pass everything there, then congratulations, you could be the voice of a character in BOM. Speaking about the characters, we have a total of 27 main ones, 24 contestants, a host, co-host, and this guy. You can voice a maximum of 2 characters, as well as an extra episodic one. I get to voice more because I'm the creator and because I can. Out of the 27 characters, there are 16 available. Starting off with the contestants. First we have Masky, the youngest one out of the others, being 19 years old. Her voice would be at a little higher pitch than normal. For Masky, you need to have a feminine voice, express your happiness loud and clear, but don't exclude the bad feelings such as anger and sadness, for example. Next off, we have Foldy. She's 22, having an average voice pitch, but a lower one would fit her too, and also a strong personality. She likes being independent, but after realizing a certain something, she became real cold towards most people, that including her swearing in almost if not every episode. If you're in a place where you can swear most or all the time, then don't go for her. Following up is Tissue, our first man in the list, though most wouldn't consider him anything more than just a gullible boy. He is 23, got an average normal pitch for his age, and a pretty emotional fellow. He doesn't like showing it, but still ends up doing so. When I say emotional, I don't mean he's crying a lot, more like he's got too much empathy for everyone. He gets too attached to people who are kind to him when he first meets them, and straight up sucks at controlling himself when it comes to his feelings. Not to forget, for role reasons I won't disclose, he'll also have an on-screen breakdown around episode 11, if I remember correctly. If you think you can't do that, then I recommend going for somebody else, such as Music Box, for example. He's one hyper 21-year-old, but he does have a handful of serious scenes. His voice pitch is about the same as Tissue's, the only difference besides the age being their personalities. MB is overall very active and eager to help everyone, especially his friends. If someone disrespects one of them, he's quick to defend them. His friends weren't the only ones he'd care of, though. If he's seen or been around another object for long enough, he'd help them when needed to, even if they never talked to each other before. He's a loyal one, that's for sure. If you don't see yourself voicing him, then maybe Sticker Shade is the one you're looking for. He's 23, got the same pitch as the last 2, and unlike the last 2, he's probably one of the calmest and most different ones out of the contestants. Don't get fooled, you still need to voice some emotional lines here and there, but they're about as rare as fandoms with no dark sides. There's nothing much about him, sadly, but even so, that's all you need to know. Our next choice is Sharpie. He's also mostly calm throughout the show, though he's got a bit more of an attitude than the others. If people aren't bothering him, he won't start an argument out of nowhere, but if he finds you're annoying him some way, then he can and will be quite a bother until you stop whatever he doesn't like, or you just go away. He's 22 and got a deeper voice. Next up we got CD. He's 21, pretty socially anxious, and the kind of guy overall. Again, there's nothing much about him to say, but it's everything you need to know in order to voice him. He's basically pretty relaxed most of the time, and his voice is at a normal pitch. Next is Chip. Out of all the cast, he's the most annoying one here. When he's around friends, or simply people he's seen before, he won't miss the chance to annoy them as hard as he can. Sometimes even strangers, but only if he's around his friends. He's 22, and his voice is also at a normal pitch. Next up is Umbrella. He's got a deep voice, and he's also 23. He's usually pretty calm, but can sometimes have a hot temper or just be mean if you ask the others about it. Following up is Pen at 24. For him, you need to have a good voice range and be able to express yourself well. Throughout the show, he'll have mostly all of his priorities set. However, there can be moments where he'll be under pressure and his plans would all get messed up. Now, let's get to Crownie. Just like Ben, she's also 24, and if you were to ask me, I'd say she's the fanciest one out of the entire cast. Her voice is a bit deeper, and you need to have a strong British accent for her, since she's the only contestant who's British. Moving on to Smartwatch, she's 22 and a very empathic person. She tries to see the good in pretty much almost everyone, and she often tries to please both parts in an argument, although she rarely succeeds. Lastly, for the available contestants, Hattie. He is 23 and pretty active and excited most of the time. Others would consider him annoying, but not as much as Chip. That's only because Chip is actively trying to play with the others, while Hattie's just being himself. Also, his voice is somewhere between a higher and average pitch. I'm still not really sure which would fit him the most. But that's enough for the contestants. Let's get to our host, TME. He's AI, so since he's actually about 57, he's still programmed to sound like he's in his late 20s. His voice is deep, and unlike the others up until now, he's the one with the least amount of emotion in his voice. Even so, that doesn't mean he won't need more effort put into his voice every now and then. Next after the host, we have our co-host. Soapy is 34, and he's really not fond of TME and the contestants. Why this is the case is gonna be revealed in a later episode though. He's basically either pissed or angry about something, either not interested. And last but not least, BSS. His actual name is Barber's Shop Sign, but since he's so long, no one's really calls him that way. Well, except if people are all mad at him, kinda like when your mom calls you by your full name and you know you're fucked. His role is helping TME with the show from behind the scenes, so the contestants don't really know about him. Also, like TME, even though he's pretty old, he still sounds 20. Alright, that's all the important characters for now. Sorry if I took too long to talk about all of them. Don't forget that, if you want to voice act, you gotta join the Discord server. The link for it is in the description, but if you do have other plans by the time I post this, you can also find it in my bio. Now, this part's just for fun, but since I only presented the characters without voice actor, here are the ones that have one, so you can form an idea on the cast. So we have Calendar, Cotton, Dreamcatchy, Candle, Starry, Pawn, Bonnie, Stampy, Diane, Old Bottle, and Trashy. That's about it. The first episode's script is finished, so if we get the voice actors before New Year's, then I'm seeing BOM 1A released somewhere in mid-2026. Well, that's all I had to say. Bye!